Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Josh. I sell used books, CDs, and DVDs online on platforms like eBay and Amazon. And that is what I do full time to support my family. Today, we are talking about thrift books. Thrift Books did sponsor this video. Thank you guys so much, Thrift Books. But we're going to be talking about thrift books the way I use thrift books in my business. There's really two kind of different ways. And I feel like those ways work good for two different types of people. There's people that are maybe just wanting to make a little extra cash on the weekend. Maybe it's Saturday afternoon, you need to make an extra $20 because your bills are going to be tight this month. Or maybe you're just wanting a little extra spending money for whatever that may be. Or maybe you're on the other end of the spectrum and you are selling hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands of books every single day, week, or month, or whatever it may be. And you've got a lot of extra books that just are not worth it for you and your business to sell, but might be worth it for somebody else's business to sell. And that's what Thrift Books does. They buy lots of books. Thrift Books is one of the largest booksellers, really in the world, definitely in America, one of the largest used booksellers out there anywhere. And because of that, they're also one of the largest used book buyers anywhere because they got to buy the books in order to sell them. So, what I do to sell books is first I've got to figure out what books do Thrift Books want to buy. So, there's two ways of basically figuring that out. Either you can use the app on your phone. Thrift Books does have an app. It's their regular buying app, but there's a portion that you can log into and sell your books to Thrift Books. They also have a website that you can use, and I really like the website for working here in my office. I can sit down at the desk, scan books in there. Very nice, very efficient. You just find a pile of books that Thrift Books wants to buy, typically using their app to do that, and then fill up a box. Once the box reaches 40 pounds, you can see how much they're going to pay you for all those books. Finish out the operation on the computer or just using the app. They will provide for you a media mail shipping label. Slap that on the box, send it off with USPS. Everything's easy peasy. You don't have to pay for shipping up front. And after the books have arrived to their warehouse, they will check them, look at them, and then approve your payout. And you'll get money right away. Love it. Wish USPS would ship things faster, but that's a problem with USPS, unfortunately. So, why should somebody be using Thrift Books? Two reasons. Number one, maybe they've got a book operation where they're buying and selling lots of books, and they're just wanting to kind of monetize some of the unmonetizable books that they normally can't make any money off of. Great way of just kind of getting a few more dollars out of those gaylords of books or boxes of books or whatever that's laying around. Absolutely great for that. Second reason somebody might use Thrift Books, maybe they're just wanting to make a few extra bucks. Maybe somebody's been doing a little bit of Uber and they're tired of driving around everywhere. Spend some time in some thrift stores, scanning some books, looking for some books that Thrift Books might want. Absolutely great opportunity. So I'm going to kind of talk about the two ways I use Thrift Books. Number one is by really kind of leaning in on thrift stores that have very low book prices. Now, some places like Goodwill, you walk into and every book in there is at least $2. That's not the type of place I would target for this type of method. However, there's lots of smaller thrift stores. Think mom and pop type thrift stores where books, especially in my region, I can find a lot of places where paperbacks are still 25 to 50 cents, hardcovers a dollar, maybe a dollar 50, and you can get these books really cheap. There's one thrift store in town here that every Friday you can go in there and just get a free bag of books just because they have so many books. They don't know what to do with them. There's another thrift store the next town over. All the books are a dime, like basically giving them away at that point. And there's lots of thrift stores all over the country like this where if you visit enough places, you're going to find some places that have very cheap books. We're talking 25, 50 cents, even a dime still, which is crazy to me in 2025 that any company is charging a dime for any item. But I see it every day. I see it all the time. It does still happen. Yes, there are lots of places that charge $2 a book. But if you walk into these very cheap places, these places that charge 10 cents, 25 cents, 50 cents per book, and you use the Thrift Books app on your phone, pull it out, start scanning barcodes with it, you're going to find lots of books that Thrift Books is paying more for. Maybe the store has it priced for 50 cents and Thrift Books is going to give you $1.25. Yeah, that's not a lot of money. But if you can start finding, 30, 40, 50 of those books per hour by scanning those shelves fairly efficiently, you're going to be able to actually make a decent hourly rate doing that. You have to target these thrift stores that don't charge high prices, but it's an absolutely great way to just make a little bit of extra pocket money real fast, not have to have big operations with lots of shelves and lots of books like I have right here, but to just do things really lean, not have to invest a lot of money. You're not going to make crazy profits. You're not going to make $500,000 this year doing this, but it is a great way to help make ends meet, especially if things are tight. And it's a very fast turnaround. Like if I buy all those books, ship them off to Thrift Books, a week or 2 weeks later, I'm going to have that money in my pocket and can go on. It's even better than getting paid out every 2 weeks at a regular job. Like a lot of times, if I'm working just a regular job, if I start working, it's going to be 2 weeks before I get the money from that work I just did. It's the same type of thing with Thrift Books. If I do the work to send that box off, I'm going to have my money in 2 weeks or less. So, absolutely great thing to do. Second way of really monetizing books with Thrift Books is if you are really doing a bulk model. I recently picked up a whole trailer load of books from a local thrift store that gets too many donations for them to process efficiently. So whenever that happens, I buy them all in bulk. I've got this small 4x8 box trailer, filled it up to the brim, gave them a little bit of cash, and left. So now I'm sorting through those books. I'm finding lots of books that are good for me to sell on Amazon. Lots of other books that are good for me to sell on eBay. But I do find some books that aren't good for those things. However, buyback companies like Thrift Books are willing to buy some of those books and really give you a good price for them. A lot of times you can actually make more money on some of these books than you could selling them yourselves on Amazon or eBay. And especially lower dollar books, if they're going to give me 75 cents for this book, it's worth it for me to throw it in a box. Like it takes no time at all to do. So I don't use Thrift Books' bulk method, but they do have a bulk process where you can just fill up a whole pallet load of books and they will handle the shipping of that entire pallet. I don't do that because I don't have a lot of space around here for pallets. And I really don't do that sort of volume consistently enough for it to make sense. So I still fill up just one regular 40-pound box, just like their regular program. However, the hard thing for a lot of people in this is whenever you're sorting a book, let's take this book, and I'm trying to figure out, is this worth me selling on Amazon? Is this worth me selling on eBay? A lot of us that are doing this full time have software that does that for us. For me, I use Scoutly. Somebody else might be using Scout IQ. Books Pro has a software that I can never remember the name of. There's lots of different softwares out there. Cash Monkey, I believe, will do it as well. Monsoon, who knows? There's lots of different things. But the majority of these softwares do not integrate with Thrift Books. So you can't quickly tell, will Thrift Books pay money for this? I can scan it with Scoutly right now. Let's just do that so you guys can see. Scan the barcode. This is my e-yo-yo ring scanner. Really kind of like this thing. There we go. And as you guys can see here, let me screen record this for you. What is happening? As you can see here, if I was to sell this on Amazon right now at $5.52, I would lose $1.02 FBA, and I would lose $1.74 FBM. Books Run was offering me 40 cents, as you can see down there in that bottom right corner. They are a different buyback company. So what I do is anytime I get a hit on Scoutly for any sort of buyback company, I throw it in a tote. Once that tote gets filled up, or I get 2 or 3 of those totes filled up, I then bring these back and I sort them using the Thrift Books app or the desktop, depending on how my workflow is. Typically, I will use the desktop because I can sit at my computer. Love doing that. But just for everybody's information here today, I'm going to show you with the app. Let me log in real quickly. So now that I'm on the Thrift Books app, all we have to do is enter our ISB in here. This is one of the ones that Scoutly told me Books Run was buying. Just scan it here. The Thrift Books app, we've got our barcode typed in there, and we can now get a quote for it. And as you can see here, Thrift Books is offering me 68 cents for this book. So if I had sold it on Amazon FBA, I would have lost $1.02. If I had sold it to Books Run, I could have got 40 cents for it. But Thrift Books here is offering me 68 cents. We're going to throw this in a box, take our 68 cents, and move on. Because all the work I really have to do scan the barcode right here for this book. If my barcode scanner, this barcode scanner keeps falling asleep on me. I think I need to charge it. Nope. I need to charge my scanner. We're just going to type it in real quick. 9780671531638. Get a quote. Arnold's bodybuilding for men, 65 cents. They're going to pay me. If I had sold this with Scoutly, boom, barcode, we would have lost 11 cents selling at FBA. We would have made 46 cents with FBM. So, once again, going in the thrift books pile, making some money there that way. And that's how I am doing this process. That 65-cent book, I wouldn't pay 50 cents for that at a thrift store, but maybe if it's there for a dime and I can make a quick 50 cents, I'm going to grab that. I'm going to keep doing that all day long. It's not big money, but if you can be picking up 30, 40, 50 of these an hour, which I think is reasonable to do. It's something I have done in the past, going out and trying to do this at the right thrift stores where their prices are super duper cheap. You can make some money. And this one right here, look, $2.08 for what in the world? And that's what I'm saying when I'm looking at these prices. What in the world? Thrift Books is paying that much? How much is this thing on Amazon? Let's go look. Right now, if I try and sell this Amazon FBA for $10.34, I'll make $1.81. FBM will make $2.35, but not if even if we sell it for the lowest price. The lowest price is $7.89. FBM is only making 27 cents. FBA is losing 27 cents. So some of this depends on how we price it, that sort of thing, but $2.08? Yeah, I'm going to take that. That's absolutely great. I'm definitely going to pay 50 cents for that at a thrift store. I'm definitely going to pay 25 cents. I didn't even pay $1 for that at a thrift store. You know, get it in, get it to FBA, make a couple of bucks on it. Not get it to FBA. Get it bought, get it put in a box, get it shipped off to thrift books, make $1 or $2, move on with life. Find 20, 30, 40, 50 of these an hour. It's a very reasonable thing to do. Something I do all the time. I like going in these very low dollar thrift stores, just finding a bunch of this stuff, making some money, getting it quick in my pocket, not having to have shelves of books just all around me like you guys can see behind me here. And it's a nice addition to my business. Makes me a lot of money. It's why I enjoy thrift books. But anyways, this has been the two ways I kind of sort for thrift books. Number one, going into cheap thrift stores, finding some books, selling them off. Number two is really how I am sorting them when I'm doing bulk. When I'm doing bulk, I use Scoutly, and I just see, are these being accepted by any buyback company? Because if they're being accepted by another buyback company, there's a very high chance that Thrift Books is also buying them. That's kind of my rationale there. So if another buyback company is buying them, probably Thrift Books is buying them. So then I will scan these for Thrift Books. And then whatever Thrift Books isn't buying, we'll probably send to Sell Back Your Book. Make a couple of pennies. But honestly, at this point, I'm pretty much done with Sell Back Your Book, because it seems like every time I fill up a 50-pound box, we're making like $7, $8. That's way different than making like $40, $50 for a box like I typically do with thrift books. It's like a completely different ballgame. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed these types of videos where we talk about things that I'm doing in my business, let me know in the comment section down below. But until next time, I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.